my name's Toni Dunne, and my middle name is Diane. And so with my initials, they are TDD, and I'm going to explain the significance of that a little bit later. But I've been in the industry for 31 years. It's an amazing place to work in emergency communications. And my first career was actually in direct services for the deaf and hard of hearing. And I came into the 911 industry with that background. And my first role was with the Texas Commission on State Emergency Communications, CSEC, as their accessibility and training program manager. And I immediately got involved with NENA and APCO, chairing their accessibility committees. And from there, I moved into the private sector. I've held lots of different positions in the private sector, from PSAP Relations Manager to Regulatory and Government External Affairs Manager, Public Safety Marketing Project Manager, and to Customer Success Manager with Motorola Solutions, where I am now. And in all of these roles, though, I've been very fortunate to be allowed to stay involved and contribute to the state and national level organizations, many different ones. So in 1990, the Americans with Disabilities Act had just passed. It's commonly known as the ADA. And it required 911 agencies to have telecommunication devices for the deaf, AKA TDDs, and also my initials. And so I say I was always destined to be in the role of providing training on this equipment and information to 911 on deaf culture. So now the equipment is known, actually it goes back to what it was originally known as, TTYs, but a lot has changed since then, and TTYs are phasing out, and just like the general population, the deaf and hard of hearing folks are using wireless devices like everyone else today. For the ADA, the deaf community would have to rely on hearing neighbors or hearing family members that also had TDDs, and they would call their family and they would place the call to 911 for them. I have a friend who had a fire in his house, and he actually got in his car and drove to the fire department to tell them that he was having an emergency. So with enhanced 911 and ALI, some agencies at that time, before the ADA, encouraged people to call and lay down their receiver and just leave the line open so that they could try to get help on the way to them. So needless to say, it was not a good situation. Through the years, we have needed advocacy from our citizens, as well as early adopters, such as NTC 911 District. Without agencies willing to be the first to implement new solutions that better meet the needs of the public, it would have been a lot slower for emergency communications to move forward. So I would say that it really needs a village to get things to be moving forward. Roadblocks are always there, and funding has always been a struggle in 911. And another challenge has been the change that new technologies create for PSAPs in their operations, and as well as getting everyone trained on the new technologies. We have included accessibility in NENA standards, and in 911, and the 911 equipment manufacturers have been willing to build those as well. But their roadmaps may not always be prioritized to the early adopter schedules who are ready to step up and meet the needs of their public. I just want to say that right now, as you know, most 911 systems are more than 50 years old and need upgrading to the next gen IP networks. And when agencies do this, it's going to provide for more enhanced data and better accessibility for people with disabilities, such as real-time text, also known as RTT. So this is not just for the deaf and hard of hearing community, but for everyone. And I do want to say thank you to NCT 911 for being on the cutting edge and helping us get where we need to be in emergency communications. Happy anniversary.